Hello, beautiful souls, divine beings. Welcome in this lovely space with me. Today I have for you an oracle reading. And the vision I receive for this one is I'm being shown the Earth, planet Earth, from out of the cosmos, the blue planet. And around the planet, around Earth, there are all kinds of different dates swirling around. And it goes from 10,000s BC throughout all centuries, 21st century. So everything in between is like swirling around the earth. What is also in here is something is like pulling all these dates into the core of the planet. And then I'm being shown a shaman that is sitting. The shaman is praying, and around the shaman there are a lot of animals that are like coming to gather around the shaman. And then I get another vision where there are like numbers and codes that are running down like the Matrix. All numbers and all codes. So when I received this vision, I thought maybe this is 3 different piles, but it's not. And I also got the message it's not. And when I stay with that vision, there is this hand. It's like the hand of God, but it's a divine hand or a divine, it's not a, it's a hand, something like a hand. It doesn't look like a hand, but it feels like something is coming from the divine and is like creating a wave through all these images, erasing them in a sense, and then stopping in the center. And then there is this stillness. The erasing also, it's like it's erasing, but it's also collecting everything together and then bringing that into center. And when I focus on that center, there is this temple that is appearing, a crystal temple. And there the vision stops. So, my dear beautiful collective, let's figure this out here. Let's see what Spirit wants to bring through with this. Let's start into, it feels important also to look at everything piece by piece, which is a first message that is here. Wherever you are, whenever you see this reading, take and look at everything piece by piece. At least start with that, because in the end it will all come together. The first thing, this earth with all these dates around, these are all timelines, all lifetimes that we have lived on this planet, that we have incarnated on this planet. And we are looking at ourselves. We are looking at ourselves from out of a perspective where we are able to see the whole of that, the completion of that. We can see through it also. We can observe it without being entangled in it. There is a very healthy perspective that is here. It is your own cosmic being that is observing our own cosmic being, that is observing what we have been doing for eons here. But again, there is a very healthy perspective here. A very healthy perspective from being the observer and seeing through the dream. It's like where we were before, caught up in the dream, we are now watching the dream. Where we were caught up in the movie, we are now watching the movie, and we are conscious of the fact that we are watching the movie. So the perspective is healthy. The perspective is right. The Knight of Swords with the High Priestess. So this is higher knowledge, higher wisdom, intuition, higher perspective. And the Knight of Swords is movement in the mind space, which is here this switch of perspective. Instead of being caught up in the illusion, in the dream, in the movie, there is a movement here with this Knight of Swords. There is a movement into being the observer of the movie, being the observer of the, what else? The movie? What else came through here? The movie. I lost the other word I used. But there is a right perspective here. A switch of the mind. A vision on the illusion here. You see this Knight of Swords? It's this. This is where we were caught up in the movie, where we were identified with the movie, where we were completely in it. And there is a shift here with this High Priestess. She sees from that different perspective. And this is also the perspective that I feel here. We are looking on the blue planet. We are watching at the blue planet, seeing it for what it is, in its wholeness, in its completeness, all the incarnations. And then there is this force that is like pulling everything into the core of that planet, which already feels like some kind of erasing of, but it also feels like an integration of. An integration of the experiences, the knowledge, the wisdom, and undone from all that is untrue, undone from all that is not true, all that is illusion here, and alchemized into what is truth. This core, there is something else here. It's the earth also itself, the planet itself also, that integrates all these lifetimes, all these generations, all these eons of incarnations that are being pulled back into the core. And the core also feels here like what is truly important. So all what is, it's undone from everything that is not important, and only what is important remains here. This core. The seeds. It's like, and it's like the Mother Earth itself, the core of Mother Earth is pulling everything into its core, and then it's spitting out seeds, but it's spitting out, excuse me, all what is unimportant, all what is unreal, all what doesn't serve. It's spitting it out. And with this star that is here, there is an illumination also with this. The ice is melting, and it's the core of the earth is melting, and wow, there is so much happening here. Sorry guys. It's melting, it's glowing, it's changing into a shape of a heart. It's love. It's all coming back to love. And everything that is not love here is being spit out. So the earth itself also is changing form from out of the core, and everything that is not based on love is being spit out. Okay. Everything that is not based on love is being spit out, and when being on earth, identified with being a human being on earth, it looks, or it can look, scary. But looked upon from a distance, from the right perspective, from the perspective of truth, where you are observing the movie, you can see it for what it is. You can see that the core of Mother Earth is just spitting out everything that is not love, everything that is not based on love, everything that is not based on illumination, which is the truth. Everything that is illusion, she's spitting it out. And we can look at that from the right perspective and see it for what it is. When we are identified with being a human being on the earth, which we are not, but when we are identified with that, with our false self, our ego, then it can look scary. Because from a distance, if the earth is just spitting out seeds, it doesn't look like something scary. Opposite. It's logical. It makes complete sense. But when you are in it and on it, when the earth starts to spit, it looks different than from the right perspective. So the first big message in here is always come back to the right perspective. And it's an invitation, but it's also something that is beyond our own control. We always have the choice to choose the right perspective, but it's also only our only truth, because it's a movie. And we are believing, we are dreaming that we are in the movie. We are dreaming that we are in the dream. But we are also waking up. And when we wake up, we can observe the dream from the right perspective. And we can also know at all times that all is well. We are just looking at a movie, which we believe is real, but it's not. So wake up. How to do that? Just reconnect with your truth. Whenever you reconnect with your truth, you have the right perspective. And always call in your guidance. This is not something to do alone. This is beyond your own control. And it's important, it's even necessary to fully surrender into God, Source, Spirit, to get the only right perspective. To get the perspective of truth, full surrender is acquired. Okay, now, second part here. The shaman and the animals. The shaman is praying here. Praying, drumming, singing, honoring, connecting. The energy here brings me back to so many prophecies. The time is now, right? So many prophecies have spoken about this moment, which we are in now. And the shaman that is showing up here, time and space is an illusion, right? It's part of the dream. And the shaman here is also now connecting with all the dates that are around the earth here. So the shaman is sitting there in this timeless moment, showing up here again through this reading. And the shaman has been sitting there all the time, throughout all lifetimes, throughout all these dates, throughout eons of lifetimes, just doing the same, praying, singing, drumming, connecting, knowing the truth, holding the space. This is wisdom. This is ancient wisdom, but it's not from a specific time. This is timeless. But the ancient in here is the truth of what the shaman represents here. The power of prayer, the power of connection, the power of singing, which is a joy, it's a celebration, it's an honoring, it's expression. The drumming is the rhythm, the norm, the rhythm of life. It's the heartbeat, the never-ending rhythm that is, it's guiding. It's guiding us into the dream state, but out of the dream. It's also representing music, which is universal language. It's oneness. Everyone understands the message of music. Everyone understands the message of rhythm. It's universal. It's also expression. It's creativity. So the shaman brings here this timeless message of what is truly important: connection, expression, joy, communion, love, holding space, peace, knowing that all is well, seeing through it all, trusting in the rhythm, the drum, to wake you up, which we already are. Time and space is an illusion. We are already awake. It happened already. But we are in this illusion of time and space. We are in the process of waking up. But it has already happened. And this is the message that the shaman brings here, with the wisdom also, the knowing that all is well. We are always held in a very safe space while we are dreaming. The shaman, our guidance, God, source, spirit, your angels, whatever you connect to, they are guiding us through this. They are guiding us to wake up in the tempo, in the rhythm that we allow ourselves to. And also the rhythm and the tempo that we can handle. When we have a nightmare, or when somebody else has a nightmare, it's best to wake them up slowly and soft. Otherwise, we can create more fear. Or otherwise, we can amplify the fear, and it might create confusion. But in truth, there is no fear. It doesn't exist there. But if we would wake somebody up out of a nightmare, rough, it might create confusion and confuse fear with truth. So all in our own rhythms, the space is being held, always. And again, the importance here of prayer and connection, prayer and communion. All the animals here, they are like gathering around this shaman. It's the innocence. The symbolism of animals is used here because it's easier for us to see the innocence in animals than to see it in human beings. That's why the symbolism of animals is been used here. Or that's one message already. What is also in here, because all kinds of animals are gathering here. Small insects, big, any animal you can imagine is gathering here, and they are all gathering in peace. There is no fighting, there is no battle, there is no comparison, there is no nothing unreal is playing out here. This is just all animals from all different sides, all beings from all different corners that are gathering together and are being pulled by a higher force to this space where the shaman is, because the shaman is holding a place of love. She is holding a space of peace. And she is showing the way by prayer and communion. And this is pulling the animals naturally to that space. So what is also in here, an animal doesn't pretend to be something different. They follow their instincts. They run on instinct. And when we surrender, it's not instinct with us, but when we surrender, there is something that is taking over, something higher than ourselves that is taking over, and that is automatically bringing us to the right place or bringing us into the right state. It is showing us what is important, and it is showing us that we are always safe. So another message in here is surrender and let yourself be guided by that higher force. Allow yourself also to be guided by that higher force, to learn to truly see and know and remember that we are always safe, and the importance of prayer and connection. The prayer and the connection, the prayer and the communion here is the tool to be guided by, and to come into the experience and into the remembrance of peace and home. Peace, safety is also in here, this safe space that the shaman is holding here. The wisdom, the truth. And again here, this feels important to say again, that these animals, it's all animals gathered together, and no, there is no fighting, there is no violence, there is just all with the same goal. Where two or more are gathered with the same goal, and this is all the animals here, they are all gathering for the same purpose, and they are driven by that higher force. They are driven by love, and they are also driven by a calling, which is the instinct here with the animals. But it's the calling to truth. Which is here, we are always safe. All is well, no matter how it looks. And love, pure, pure love. Union, oneness. Pull one card here. The animals. Four of Swords, peace. It's that. It's peace. The whole image is so incredibly peaceful. And the shaman, it's the Four of Swords. It's after the pain, after the Three of Swords, after all the pain and all the suffering, which is being caught up in the dream, being caught up in the movie, being caught up in the illusion. And then there is the Four of Swords, there is this feeling of retreat. I have peace now, I can rest now. There is a safe space for me to rest. And this is what the shaman is holding here. And the safety comes through the surrender, and there the remembrance that all is well at all times. Peace, love, and how to get there, prayer and communion. Surrender. And this also, that the peace, also what I said before, this the shaman is connecting to all these different lifetimes, these eons of years on the planet, incarnations on the planet, and the shaman is just sitting there in its timelessness, which again is the truth here. It's the right perspective. The shaman was there 20, 30, 50,000 BC. The shaman was sitting there. The shaman was sitting there in the year of Christ. The shaman was sitting there in the first, the second, the third, the fourth, till the 21st century. The shaman is still sitting there in timelessness, which is true. It's out of the dream, out of the illusion of time and space. It's an endless moment. And it's that endlessness that offers peace, that comes together with peace. But it's the knowing that that is true, which also brings us back into peace. These codes here, third part of this vision here, the codes and the numbers that are like, this is a rewiring. That's the first thing that I really feel with this rewiring, resetting. It was already here, no? It's a little, it's not that, but it looks a bit like that. But then moving the face again, this getting out of the movie, getting out of the matrix, getting out of this prison of illusion. Let me get some cards with that. But the main feeling is here rewiring. New codes, different codes. This. The promise. The promise with releasing. And the golden light ray. What I mainly feel here with this, the promise and releasing, this feels like something that is still very bound to the old world. This feels like needs, in a sense. And these codes, it feels like the movement of this, like a waterfall, all these codes and all these numbers through that. It's like whatever we, because this really feels like a collective message, whatever we still held on to as being what's been promised to us, what are we desiring, what is still very much of this 3D world, the promises of the 3D world will be completely rewired. It will be, we will be and feel and experience a releasing of these needs, these desires, these very 3D earthly desires. These codes are removing that. They are releasing us from that, from these desires, from these needs. And then there is this beautiful golden light ray. And the gold is very significant in this time. There is a lot of golden energy that is coming through, which is an energy, it's a color of a specific frequency. And this frequency of the color gold is working together here with this rewiring of. If you compare also the colors here, this is very dense, right? It's very dense. And then there is this releasing of, which is also blue. So a lot of emotions can also be involved with this releasing of. You might experience grief through that process because we are letting go of something. But if you compare here these dense colors and then the releasing of, which is the process in between, and then there is this beautiful light color, which also the expression, it's very light. While this one, I never saw it like that because I always thought it was a very beautiful energy. But within this reading, it feels like the focus is not right here. She is in joy and lightness, and this feels dense. And it feels very much out of place. It doesn't belong here anymore. It doesn't belong in whatever is rewiring here for all of us. It doesn't belong in the new earth. These colors, these needs, these desires that we once had. We will be cleansed and released from that to come into a completely new experience. And this brings me to the last part of this vision here, where this hand of God, I'm going to call it the hand of God, this divine hand is erasing or moving through these images, because it's not completely erasing it, but it's moving through it and it's combining it all, putting it all together in the right perspective, centering it, and then there is this beautiful, beautiful crystal temple that is appearing there, which is a culmination or an integration, a gathering of all that is important, and all the rest has been erased, has been alchemized, has been rewired, has been changed. Something completely new is showing up here, which is this beautiful, beautiful crystal temple here. So I feel I have to put the first three compact together here. The first one is integration of all lifetimes and getting out of the identification or the idea or the belief to be trapped in the movie, in the dream. So getting out of the dream. The second one is the knowingness that all is well. We are held in a space of love and peace. The importance of prayer and connection, communion and surrender, and the rewiring of the knowing that whatever we once desired will not be there anymore. It will make space for something different. And all of this together is gonna be erased, and it's gonna be something completely different, where only what is truly important from before will be integrated, but also show up in a different form, in a form that is light, in a form that is pure, in a form that is transparent, meaning honesty. It's real. There is no space for masks. There is no space for lies. There is no space for anything else than love, expressions of love in all its forms, which is also a very different form than most of us know love. This is of a very different level. Let me get a few more here with this crystal temple here. The Ice Queen, 22, which feels here just this purity that is here. The light body. Ice Queen, light body and light activation. Ice Queen I showed you already. This is a complete rewiring of ourselves and everything we know. And we know this, we feel this. We are in the process of a big, big transformation. This is what all the prophecies have been speaking about. We are here in that time, it's happening. And this reading comes through here to offer you another confirmation in how different everything is going to be, how different you will be, how different our bodies will be, how different we are going to see ourselves and everything around us, how different we're going to experience ourselves and everything around us. And in that process which we are in, there is reflection, there is integration, there is surrender, there is love, there is peace, and there is rewiring. That wants to come through here with this reading. A number here. Seven, 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 seven. Deeply mystical number. This is a place of incredible learning and wisdom. It is time to integrate that meeting point of earth and spirit. Recognize yourself as the infinite wisdom keeper and trust your divine nature. Boom. Right? Boom. All together, the whole message in one here. Wisdom, deeply mystical, learning, integration, the meeting point of heaven and earth, earth and spirit. And trust in your divine nature, that shaman that is there, the divine that is guiding you, your truth. Or the truth. Not only your truth, but the truth. And I want here this light activation, light body. I want to read that. The light activation here. The evolution of spirit, actioning of plans, transcendence. When the body lights up in an attunement or activation, it triggers a beacon for the soul to communicate with the physical body. Overseen by the ancient Tibetan master, Dijewahal Kul, activations can bring deep healing and transcendence. Regardless of physical sensation, these activations occur on an energetic and emotional level. Activations which can be physical or spiritual in nature amplify your personal connections with the world and energy around you. Essential for the evolution of human consciousness, activating energy centers, intuition, healing abilities, life force, or kundalini can happen gently or abruptly given your chosen personal path. That's what I said about we all wake up in our own tempo, on our own rhythm, depending on our own system and our own chosen personal path. Awakening dormant DNA and hidden memories, activations are dominantly positive experiences that encourage your mind to connect more closely to your soul and spirit. Transmissions, awakenings, and spiritual prophecy will occur now, so have a paper and pen ready. This Ascension Master asks you to be clear with your intentions, as conflicts will be triggered by stress. Choose to let go of fear and let your soul guide you on a journey of self-discovery. Your soul is in a constant state of learning, so learning a new skill and planning future education are favorable now. Be realistic in your approach, otherwise you will set yourself up to fail. Repeating self-sabotaging behaviors. Being stubborn will only keep you stuck in places that your soul doesn't want to be in. Your soul is seeking new challenges. Let yourself be free. So this new place here, this crystal temple, this complete new experience of ourself and of everything around you is an experience that is of freedom. It's activations, awakenings, transmissions, prophecies. It's all in here. And it's also all what we said also comes back in here. The self-sabotaging behaviors, this is the surrender. Surrender. Do your utmost best to be as surrendered as you can be. Drop that old self. Let go of that old self. And when you slip, forgive. Don't judge. Don't try to do it all perfect. Don't be manic about that. Just forgive. Stay in that place of here. She's beautiful. Love and laughter. Receiving and giving gifts, passionate projects. This golden light ray, this energy, this has been asked from you throughout this whole process. No matter how it looks, all is well. And when you integrate, surrender, pray and commune, and know that the rewiring is happening, when you do that, when you reconnect with your truth, there is nothing else that you can do than love and laugh and feel light, your truth, which is also this right perspective here, looking upon the blue planet from the right perspective. 010022. New beginnings. Something big, something new is being born here. is emerging. And it's gonna look completely different, far beyond our own imagination. But we are receiving peaks from this here. All of us, consciously or unconsciously. We all feel something's happening, and some of us are more open to this, some of us are more conscious. Doesn't matter, we are all in this together. We are all brothers and sisters. We are all one being in the end. So also our consciousness is connected. So we are all able to sense what is coming. But how it's going to look is going to be beyond our own imagination. But the crystals here, the crystals are very significant. And it is significant for the form also. But the main message that is in here is the clarity, the purity, the transparency, the truth, the health, natural energy. Crystal clear, right? It's gonna be crystal clear, all of this. And it was not like that before. It is not like that when we are trapped in the dream, when we are identified with our ego, with the human self. The things are not clear. Everything is confusing and everything is conflict and suffering in the world of the ego. In the dream, it's conflict. Out of the dream, it's clear, crystal clear. And that is the shift that is happening here. One more. That's such a beautiful energy. The field of dreams on the bottom of the deck. But this one, such a beautiful energy. It's a sweetness. It's a coming together in love, right? Love, but pure love. The sweetness here, it's 8 also, which is this infinity, right? It's the shaman. Love, peace, but true love. Coming together with true love and being able to experience that in all its expressions, in all its forms, and for all beings, for all our brothers and sisters, with all our brothers and sisters, through all our brothers and sisters, coming together as one. That's what we're doing here. That's the big process that we are in. We are coming together as one being. Coming back together as one being. Because we have always been that one being. We just started to believe. We started to dream. We put on the movie of separation. But it's a dream. And we are waking up out of that dream. And the more we wake up out of that dream, the more we experience the coming together as one. So my dear beautiful souls, my dear beautiful collective, be open, because it's happening. It's happening now. Okay, my dear beautiful souls, this is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope this was helpful, and I'm sending lots of love, lots of light, lots of peace and blessings for each and every one.